Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another Iowa SourceLink and Iowa Department of Revenue webinar. We're happy to have you here with us this afternoon. As everyone is starting to get logged in and ready for this session, I will go ahead and do some housekeeping and welcoming before we kick off. My name is Patrick Linsman. I'm the Associate Director for the John Papajohn Entrepreneurial Center at the University of Northern Iowa and work with the Iowa Economic Development Authority to bring the Iowa SourceLink platform to the state of Iowa, where we help small business owners and small business professionals get information on how to start, run, and operate, grow their businesses throughout the state. Doing some of those things like providing information, such as hosting webinars with the Department of Revenue to keep you up to date on some of the latest happenings and trends with that. So this is your first time being here or your 100th time being here, welcome. We're happy to have you. Housekeeping things for today. Yes, this webinar will be recorded and it will be available to watch after the session. So you don't have to worry about that. If you have questions, please enter them into the Q&A box. We will do our best to answer them if they pertain to the session. Some of them you may be asked early and we will answer during the live portion of the presentation, so we won't address it directly. Others may be too specific or too nuanced to be able to answer during this webinar, and those will be either we'd ask you to reach out to the Department of Revenue directly to get your answer, or we'll be able to follow up with you after the session. This is educational, obviously, so nothing is quite law, I don't think, today, Jerica. So we're gonna hopefully just show it to you to help you learn. The slides are posted in the chat. So if you're looking for a copy of the slide deck and some of the things we're gonna be covering, you're gonna find it there. So I think with that, everyone's signed in, ready to go. That's just spiel. So today's topic, we've got new and updated GovConnectIowa features. We're joined by three people from the Department of Revenue today. Our presenter is going to be Jerica Pellington, sorry if I said that wrong. And then we've got Emily Banks and Tara West that are in the background. They're going to be able to help answer some of those questions as they come in. So Jerica is, in my opinion, one of the expert on GovConnectIowa, at least for the webinar. So Jerica, welcome. We're excited to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Patrick. Yes, so thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Jerica, and I am one of the GovConnectIowa specialists. So you may have been in contact with me if you contact the department or through taxpayer services. If you have attended any of our previous webinars for GovConnectIowa, you may recognize me. Today we'll be covering the rollout to updates for GovConnectIowa, and I will be providing a live demonstration of various GovConnectIowa features, and I will also be sharing more information about requesting and gaining access to tax accounts. Like Patrick said, if we do not answer your questions during the webinar, please know that we are reviewing them and we'll update our website and comment questions as answers are available. It is important to know that the information used in today's webinar includes fictional taxpayer data, and any similarities are purely coincidental. So to get started, we'll talk about our partner agencies. GovConnectIowa is comprised of multiple state of Iowa agencies. So our goal is to make it easier for you to do business in Iowa and for us to better serve you as Iowa taxpayers. So this is the second rollout of a multi-year effort to simplify processes for taxpayers. The state launched GovConnectIowa in November 2021, supporting functionality from the top 4 agencies. So the top 4 are the Iowa Department of Revenue, the Iowa Alcoholic Beverages Division, the Iowa Department of Inspections and Appeals, and the Iowa Lottery Authority. Beginning on November 14th, the additional agencies that you see under tax credit administration will also be introducing tax credit functionality. So that includes the Iowa Economic Development Authority, the Iowa Finance Authority, and the Iowa Utilities Board. Here's a breakdown of all of the tax types and when they will be available in GovConnectIowa. In November 2021, we introduced functionality for business taxpayers to file their sales and use, withholding, and fuel taxes, and also apply for certain licenses with ABD, DIA, and Iowa Lottery. And then in November 2022, we will be bringing some updates for business taxpayers. So this includes functionality for corporate income taxpayers. So corporate filers will be able to check their account status, manage their account information, make payments on GovConnectIowa. And then we will also have expanded license functionality for ABD and DIA. And then we will be introducing tax credits. In future rollouts here, you can see that we are going to introduce GovConnectIowa functionality for individual income, fiduciary inheritance, and all of their taxes and fees, local government oversight, and distributions. So here are some important dates that you need to know. Starting on November 10th, all saved drafts in GovConnectIowa will be deleted on November 10th at 6 p.m. And GovConnectIowa will be unavailable between 6 p.m. November 10th through noon on November 14th for system updates. To see this, you can either save this PowerPoint, which is provided in the chat, or it is also available as a banner on GovConnectIowa. And then on November 14th, all R2 account types will be available through GovConnectIowa starting at noon. You may notice when you log in that you may have immediate access to the rollout to account types. If you do not have access to those accounts, you will need to complete the request access to an account form on GovConnectIowa. So the Department of Revenue has learned a lot from you in the past year, and we're excited to bring you new functionality. I will tell you that current access to GovConnectIowa will not be removed or changed, but you will see that there are additions and some changes to what you're seeing in terms of look and feel. So the first part that I'll talk about here are the GovConnectIowa logons. So after November 14th, your logon can be a username or an email address. Username functionality will allow you the ability to create more than one profile to manage tax accounts if you wish to do that. Instructions on how to update current logons will be provided at a later date. You can subscribe through GovDelivery, or you can pay attention to our website, and I'll show you more information a little bit later here. And then access to business accounts have been updated. So one logon account will be able to request administrator or owner access to multiple businesses. Other party access has been updated, so taxpayers will have the ability to easily grant access to other parties, think tax professionals or accountants, after they create their GovConnectIowa logon and connect to their tax account. Conversely, other parties will also be able to request access to tax accounts by providing that tax permit number or FEIN or social security number and one other piece of account validation. You'll notice that we have screen and menu updates. So the layout of some screens and some menu structures have been updated. And then you'll see new information for the new tax types, tax credits, and some licenses. So if you work for or you work on behalf or administer the following items that you're seeing, additional functionality is being added to GovConnectIowa. We have more announcements for existing GovConnectIowa users. We are offering paperless mailing. So paperless mailing stops most paper correspondence from being mailed to you. And instead, you will receive most correspondence electronically to your GovConnectIowa account. To view the correspondence, you'd simply log into GovConnectIowa. You do have the option to easily opt in or opt out of this feature. But if you do opt in to paperless mailing, you will receive a nightly email when you receive correspondence from the department. We are introducing a document upload process, and what this is known as currently is respond or reply to a letter. And this is available for you to provide supporting documentation when it's requested by the department. So instead of mailing your documents, you would be able to upload them directly through GovConnectIowa. This makes sure that they're going directly where they need to go, and it also means that we can view them a little bit faster. It is important to note that not all letters are eligible for an online reply. Some letters require a document upload, some of them require a new form submission, and then others may not require a response at all. So we just recommend, if you find that you can't respond to the letter, just make sure you read through that and see exactly what we're looking for. We are introducing what's called the Accountant Center, which I will show you later. And so this is a center that is dedicated to tax professionals, and it just allows you to view and complete open action for all of your clients in one place throughout GovConnect Iowa. And then we do have some language updates. So the summary tab, it was updated to accounts, more was updated to I want to, and payment channels was updated to payment methods. I will show you this a little bit later in our webinar. And one of the most exciting things happening in the November rollout is that we are adding corporate, S corporation, and partnership income taxpayers. So you will be able to use the portal to do a number of things. So these include managing your organization's tax account information, and that includes mailing addresses, officials, and authorized third parties. You'd be able to make payments for these rollout to tax types. And as I mentioned earlier, you'd be able to view correspondence and respond to letters or information requests from the Department of Revenue. So more information about these tax types and how they can be accessed and the tools that are available will be available on our website soon. The state of Iowa is continuing its efforts to streamline key activities in GovConnect Iowa. So as part of those efforts, tax credit applications and administration that currently occur in Cactus are moving to GovConnect Iowa. So this includes a number of tax credits from the Iowa Department of Revenue, the Iowa Utilities Board, and the Iowa Economic Development Authority. It is important to note that not all tax credit programs are impacted by these changes. So if you have specific questions, you will need to contact that appropriate state agency. So as you can see from this table, the Iowa Department of Revenue will use GovConnect Iowa to administer their solar energy system tax credit, the geothermal heat pump, and the tax credit transfers. The Iowa Utilities Board will use GovConnect Iowa to administer their renewable energy tax credit. And the Iowa Economic Development Authority, known as IEDA, will use GovConnect Iowa to administer their angel investor tax credits, the innovation tax credits, the redevelopment tax credit program for brownfields and gray fields, and the renewable chemical production tax credit. There is a note at the bottom here that IEDA's high quality jobs program and the innovation program funding are not impacted by these changes. And then on to our last slide about the rollout 2 announcements. Licenses and permits that are currently available in GovConnect Iowa will be updated for the November 2022 rollout. Some of these updates include introductory steps for the licenses or the agency, and just describing which licenses are available, or if you need preliminary information before you apply. We have edit links that are directly included on the review steps, and you'll also notice that there are some new filters and status checks available. We do have several new licenses managed by various state agencies that will be available. However, to learn more about those, I do recommend that you join our future webinar. And I did include on the screen here, you can register for our webinars by visiting our website. So you're just going to look for that upcoming webinars tab and then click view topics, and you can also view them through Iowa SourceLink as well. So now that we've covered the rollout 2 announcements and important dates, I'm actually going to head into GovConnect Iowa so that way you guys can view the enhancements and I can show you some of our new functionality. All right, so right off the bat, you can notice that the homepage has been updated to include a home icon in the top left corner here. You'll notice that we have an updated background photo, and we have also consolidated tiles, so that way you can easily find what you need to complete. We do have some new online functions that are available during rollout 2. So some of these include being able to submit an Iowa 843 refund through GovConnect Iowa. We have the income tax prepare continuing education form, and then we also have request an Iowa account number. So that is otherwise known as an EIN. So we do have several new web requests that are available for non-logged in users. For the state of Iowa agencies involved in licensing through GovConnect Iowa, each agency has a splash page to communicate which licenses are available for new applications or renewals. So when we clicked on the ABD link, the alcoholic beverages link, we could see that there are 4 license types that are available. So we have the on-premises and the off-premises licenses. You can see that there are specific descriptions for each license type to guide you in the right direction without requiring additional navigation to the ABD website. So let's go ahead and click on the home icon here, and it will go ahead and take us back to the GovConnect Iowa homepage. So we're going to walk through creating a logon, requesting access, viewing the Accountant Center, and viewing secondary logons today. So I'm going to get started by creating a logon. So in order to create your GovConnect Iowa logon, you would click this link here. For existing GovConnect Iowa users, this will look a little bit different than the functionality that we introduced in Rollout 1. So this may be beneficial to you if you're assisting others in navigating GovConnect Iowa. So the first step here, this is the communication, just telling you what's currently available and the supported tax and license types out here. So then we can go ahead and click next. On this step, we'll be required to enter information. So you can see that the username and the password requirements are easily visible on this screen. I will tell you that GovConnect Iowa does allow you to tab and use the arrow keys to navigate through the text fields without requiring the touch of a mouse. So if it looks like I'm doing something a little bit funky, that's what you're seeing. I will go ahead and select my secret question. And then lastly, you'd be required to complete this reCAPTCHA to confirm that you are in fact not a robot, and I am not. So I will go ahead and click that, and I will click next. So we do want to make sure that GovConnect Iowa users are real, and real people require real emails, right? So what this is going to allow us to do is communicate more effectively with you if we need to, while maintaining high quality fraud prevention measures. And so what you're going to see on this step is that an email will be sent to the email address that you provided on the previous screen, and you will receive a validation code. You will then have to come back in here, enter in the validation code in order to move forward. Because I am in a simulation environment, I can populate this code, which I will do now, and then I'll click next. This next step requires you to identify if you are a bulk filer or not. So a bulk filer files tax returns and payments for multiple clients at one time by uploading a bulk file. If you are a tax professional, a third party, a business owner, or you're an employee handling tax accounts on behalf of your business, or if you manage activities for one client or business at a time, you should answer no to this question. I will tell you that if you aren't aware, GovConnect Iowa screens are dynamic. And so this means that if we select yes, more bulk filer related questions would appear, and it would lead you down a different pathway. In this scenario today, I am going to select no and keep moving on to the next question. So in order to access all of the available GovConnect Iowa features and manage your tax accounts, you will need to request an access code. You can also request additional access codes to more businesses after you create your logon. If you need to register a new business or you're only here to renew licenses, you should answer no to this question. So in this scenario, I do want to request access to tax accounts. So I will go ahead and select yes. So as mentioned previously, GovConnect Iowa screens are dynamic. And so this means that at this point, we need to choose a pathway. Are we going to request business access or other party access? If you select business access, that implies that you are here to manage your business accounts, or you're an employee completing GovConnect Iowa tasks on behalf of your employer. Other party access would be selected if you are a tax professional, an accountant, or other third-party representative managing your client's tax accounts. It is important to note here that other party access does not equal third-party authorization. So if you are, say, a power of attorney, you would also be expected to complete the power of attorney form. In today's scenario, I will click Business Access and click Next to continue. Once we've selected the business access path, we will be prompted to select from 3 different levels of access. So we do have the descriptions included right on the screen. So for business access, you can see that these include full access, administrator, and account manager. Full access is the highest access level. So this means that you would have full access to tax accounts, and you would be able to manage the access levels for administrators, account managers, and other party users. So if you already have a GovConnect Iowa account, say that you created one from Rollout 1, this is the equivalent to the owner access. Administrators are next, meaning that they can manage the tax accounts, they can grant additional users access to tax accounts, they can create logons for, say that they have staff, and then they can also request password resets for the users that they added. Account managers have access to tax accounts only. They do not have the ability to add or manage other users. For other party access, those include other party administrator and other party account manager. They follow similar rules. However, you'll notice that for other party administrators, they would have access to secondary logons, and we will touch on those later in this webinar. So in today's scenario, let's go ahead and click full access and next. So the next step here is account verification. So this is to verify that you know real information about the tax accounts you're requesting access to. So in this case here, let's go ahead and choose a corporation account type. You are required to verify one account, and you may receive access to all depending on the access types that you chose. So since I am requesting full access, I will receive access to all of the associated tax accounts with that business. Let me go ahead and type in the federal employer ID number here. And I do need to verify some piece of the taxpayer information. So in this case here, I do know the IDR ID. So I will go ahead and enter that now. Once you have entered that information, you can go ahead and click Next to continue. And so in this final step here, you can review the information. And one of the pieces to keep in mind here is that a letter with an access code will be mailed to the taxpayer's headquarters or primary mailing address with the zip code that's listed on the screen. So you'll see that zip code right here. And this is a very important step, as you may not receive the access code letter if the address is incorrect. So make sure as you're requesting access to your accounts that the zip code matches what your headquarters address would be. If the zip code does not match the current address, you would need to update the headquarters address on file with the Iowa Department of Revenue. Once you have reviewed this information, you can click Submit and you will create your logon. So once your logon has been created, you can log into your GovConnect Iowa account. However, to receive access to all of those features I was telling you about, you will need to connect to the tax account using the access code that you received in that letter. So if you do not receive your access code within, I would say 7 to 10 business days, you may need to contact a business representative to verify if the letter was received at their headquarters address. And if it was not, I do recommend that you have an authorized representative contact the Iowa Department of Revenue to confirm or update that address. It is important to know that if you need to make a payment prior to receiving your access approval code, you can use the quick pay feature that's located on the GovConnect Iowa screen. So now that we've created our logon, let's click OK, and it will take us back to the GovConnect Iowa home screen. So let's go ahead and log in for the first time here. I'll enter in my username and password, and I'll click login. So the first time you log into GovConnect Iowa, you'll be prompted to set up your two-step verification. More information will be available on our website regarding two-step verification on November 14th. However, in today's scenario, let's go ahead and click Setup underneath the Authentication app. So if you choose setup, you'd be given a QR code or a manual key, and then you would either scan or input that into your authentication app. Again, I'm in a simulation environment, so I will go ahead and click save, and then I can populate the security code that you would have received in that app. All right, then let's go ahead and click confirm. So at this point here, we have successfully created our logon. We've requested access to an account, and we've logged in for the first time. So this is the logged in GovConnect Iowa screen when you're not connected to a business account. So in order to access all of those features, you have to enter in that access code or request access to the account. If you created a GovConnect Iowa logon to register a new business or to renew licenses with other state of Iowa agencies, you could choose any of those options now. One thing to keep in mind is that that you are required to have a connection to a sales tax account in order to apply for new alcoholic beverages division or Iowa lottery licenses. So keep that in mind. If you choose these and you're trying to apply, you do have to be connected to a sales tax account. This also means that if you are here to renew existing licenses without being connected to a sales account, you can. So you can renew, however, you can apply for new licenses. We have included verbiage on specific GovConnect Iowa screens to help guide you through this process. So even if you don't write it down now, we have tried to help you along the way. So in today's scenario, let's go ahead and click the enter access code to connect to an account. And I will go ahead and I will grab the access code here, and then we'll go ahead and enter it in. So a little bit of magic on the back end. All right, I'll go ahead and type in that code now. And then I will click submit. All right, so what you can see here is that the access code has been validated. So this is the confirmation screen that you'd use. And in most cases, the request will be processed quickly. However, there are some cases where a manual review is required and access will be granted once that request is processed. So in order to see that, you would be able to click OK. And if it's been processed quickly, you'd be able to see your tax accounts right away. So now that we are connected to our tax account, let's review what's available in GovConnect Iowa. So for existing GovConnect Iowa users, you can see that Summary was renamed to Accounts, and then what used to be called More is now called I Want To. So from the Accounts tab, you'll be able to find all of the tax accounts you've connected to under that business or customer. So from this tab, you'll be able to easily find what you're looking for, whether it's making a payment, viewing tax periods, ceasing a tax account, or viewing estimated payments and credits. This is the home page for logged in users, which is the first page that you'd arrive at. So at a quick glance, you can see that it has a modern look and feel, and we've tried to provide easy to understand language to guide you through GovConnect Iowa. From here, you can see that there's a sub panel. And so this displays a summary of the account details. You can see that there are total balance amounts that are listed on this tab. And it's important to know that if it's listed in a green color, it means that there's no tax due for this account. However, if there is a tax amount due, you will see that this balance will change to a number instead of just zeros, and then it will change into a reddish orange color. We have kept this information on the screen to a minimum, and that's on purpose because we want to show you the most relevant and important information for each of your tax accounts here. You will notice that I have quite a few tax accounts connected here. And so what that means is that we're able to see them all from the accounts menu. And so you would just scroll through to see them all. You will notice that the accounts are listed alphabetically. So that's why you see withholding is at the bottom of the list.
Hey, Jericho, do you mind if I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So we got quite a few questions when we mentioned Quick Pay earlier, and I just want to clarify that for those who are listening. Quick Pay will continue to be available when the new updates are put into GovConnectIowa. You'll always be able to go in and make that payment without logging in. We're removing the quick file function. So you will be required to have a login and be connected to your accounts to file those tax returns. That is what's moving. So there's kind of a difference between those two features. You can keep making payments real quick and easy, but you will have to have a login to file those tax returns.
Thank you, Emily. I really appreciate that. And thank you guys for bringing in those questions. I hope we were able to clarify for you. Thanks, Emily. So what we have next is we have the Action Center. So if a user has an action item, such as they have unread correspondence, they have an outstanding balance, or they have other uncompleted items, you will be able to review those through the Action Center tab. You can see the amount of items that you may have listed out here based on this number here. So if we have the number 5, I would expect that we would see 5 different items here, which you can see that we do. From the settings tab, you would be able to come in here and choose preferences for each business and to the specific accounts tied to that business. So for example, say that you want to opt in to paperless mailing, you would be able to go to the mail delivery option here and you would select paperless. And then you could also come down here and you could manage your default payment methods. And then the last one here, the more, which is now I want to, includes all of the other available features, actions, services that we have available through GovConnectIowa. So you can see right away that we have quite a few different options available to you. And these are grouped by topic. So for example, if you want to update a name or address, you would be able to locate the name and addresses panel, and then you would be able to complete one of these options. You can see that we also have letters here as well. So on the screen, you will be able to see GovConnectIowa access here. So this is where you would request access, you would enter an access code, you'd be able to view and manage your own access, and then you'd be able to manage other users. This process here is very similar to the request access form that we completed during the create a logon process. The next set of panels that we have here include third-party authorization, the state of Iowa licenses, we have tax account maintenance, appeals and challenges, and you can see that we have a few more. You can see the third-party authorization panel here, but again, just remember that third-party authorization does not mean other party access is granted. Those are separate processes. And then the last set here, these include refunds, tax credits, exempt entities, and GovConnectIowa resources and help. You can also find the help and how-to information on the footer of all of the GovConnectIowa screens. So let's go ahead and scroll back up to the top here. So now we have created the logon, requested access, gained access, and we viewed the basic navigation. Now I want to focus on how to update your existing profile. So from the Manage My Profile menu, you'd be able to find your username, email, phone number, and security information. Beginning on November 14th, you will have the ability to change your username. So for rollout 1 GovConnectIowa users, if you currently have an email address as your username, you may now update it to a username. So this is beneficial for those companies or small businesses that may share an email address within a work group, but you plan to use different logons to access GovConnectIowa. These tabs, you can see that they are similar to what you'd see on the main GovConnectIowa screen. So we have the profile, the action center, and I want to. If you are connected to multiple businesses in GovConnectIowa, you will receive access to what is called the Accountant Center. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to log off of this account and I'm going to log into what we would consider a tax professional's account. So I'll go ahead and click login. So remember how we set up that two-step verification? This is an example of what you would see when you log in. They would send you that 6-digit code, and then you would be required to enter it. And then you could select trust this device. I am in a simulation environment, so I will go ahead and populate that and click confirm. So right away when you log in, you can see that the screen looks a little different. You have the ability to request access to a customer, enter access code to connect to another customer, and then you can see the accountant center here. So I've said it a ton now, right? And you're probably like, okay, so what exactly is it? Let's go ahead and click into it here. So you can do that by clicking here, or actually going to the top right underneath Manage My Profile. So this is a new screen that has all of the most important links that you need to manage your clients. So you'll be able to find saved drafts and submissions, messages, letters, manage returns and payments. You can manage saved payment methods, access, all from one center here. One link that will be familiar to users now is the other party access. And so this is a secondary logon. So it is currently housed under the other GovConnectIowa access panel. However, it will be renamed to access for employees or other parties after November 14th. Although the panel tile has been updated, the functionality is very similar. So let's go ahead and click Manage Secondary Logons to view the updates. So from here, you can see that there are various changes. These changes include a description of what secondary logons are and the new feature, which is deactivation of secondary logons. So a secondary logon is a child account that is directly linked to your account. So this means that you can grant them the same access that you have, and it allows you as the parent logon to request access one time to your client, and then you can grant immediate access to your employee or the secondary logon once you're connected. So an example of when you would use a secondary logon is, say that we have John Doe. John Doe is a tax preparer, and he creates a GovConnectIowa logon, and he connects to several accounts. John also has staff members that are assisting him with filing tax returns, managing officials, making payments. What he could do is he could come in here and create a secondary logon for each staff member and manage their GovConnectIowa access. It is important to know that secondary logons cannot request access to tax accounts. Access has to be managed through that main parent account. So in today's example, we can see that we do have an existing secondary logon. So we will go ahead and click the username here. And when you click on the profile, you can see that there are different options available. We could change the access that they have. Say that you created the logon and they didn't get that access email. Instead of contacting the department, you would be able to resend it directly from here. And then you also have the ability to deactivate their GovConnectIowa access. So let's go ahead and select deactivate access. It will ask you if you're sure. We'll select yes. And then here you can see that those settings have been removed. If we go back one step by clicking that secondary logon, you can see now that this has been grayed out. And what this means is that Lisa01 would not be able to log into GovConnectIowa. You can come back in here and easily reactivate it by clicking that username and clicking the reactivate access link. So more information about secondary logons will be available on our website starting on November 14th. But what I'm going to do now is go ahead and kick back to the slideshow here. All right, so when it comes to receiving help, we have a couple different options for you. So for guidance and detailed information on how to use GovConnectIowa, I do recommend that you head out to our website, tax.iowa/GovConnectIowa-help. You can also view YouTube videos that we have. We do have videos that provide instructional walkthroughs of various requests throughout GovConnectIowa. You can receive updates via our Gov delivery service, so you can subscribe to those on our website. And then if you need further assistance, you can contact our taxpayer services team, and one of our specialists would be able to assist you. So what I'll do now is I will go ahead and leave this slide up on the screen for a few minutes. And then Emily, are there any questions from the chat that we would be able to answer live? And I'll go ahead and take another look here as well. Patrick, go ahead.
So we have had a couple of questions about, can I update my account to use these new features, or how can I change my access? We are working on putting together guidance that will be available when the new features are live on November 14th. So stay tuned for those instructions and that help information. It should be available shortly after go live. And then I just wanted to clarify QuickFile and QuickPay one more time, because that is kind of confusing for some folks. QuickPay will be available. You can continue to make payments without logging in. QuickFile will be removed from GovConnectIowa on November 10th. That means that you should request access to your tax account so that you can log in and file those returns. And submitting a payment does not equal submitting a return. So for most tax types, you do need to do both of those items on your due date. So just want to make sure that that is clear as well.
Thanks, Emily. Were there any other questions that we could possibly answer live?
I think there's
just that one that says, can pass-through entity and composite tax payments be made on GovConnectIowa? And yes, starting November 14th, they will be available to make payments. So we'll be adding corporate income, franchise, pass-through, composite, and S corporations. I think I got all of those, right, Jerica?
Yes, you did. And if not, they are available in the slide deck as well.
Yep, I do
Sorry,
think.
Patrick, I cut you
Yeah,
off.
no, you're
us?
fine. No, I just saw a couple of the questions that came through, and I think Tara tried to answer them too, but maybe for the group. With the new rollout, you do not have to create a new logon, correct?
That is correct. Yes, if you already have a GovConnectIowa logon starting November 14th, you can log in just as you did before. Things are going to look a little bit different, but you do not have to create a new logon. Like I said, it will just look different for you, and you'll have new features and functionality available to you. So if you currently have a GovConnectIowa logon, say that you have one right now, you do not have to create a new one. You will log in like you do now.
Absolutely. Well, I think a lot of
along that same thought, anything that you enter into GovConnectIowa today will still be there. So if you've already submitted an application, or you're working on licenses and stuff like that, all of the stuff that you currently have today will continue to be available. You will not lose anything that you have fully submitted, but the saved drafts will be removed. So you'll want to make sure that you log in and you don't have any of those outstanding items or drafts saved before November 10th.
No, I think that's a good point. Jerica, too, if you're looking through that list of questions, if there's some that you see that you want to address, please go ahead and do so. Otherwise, I know that Tara is still working through those, but great, as you're looking through, great job on the presentation. And I think a lot of really new and helpful features. For those that have questions currently out in the Q&A, if they're like specific to your own account access or anything of that sort, that's not going to be stuff that we're going to be able to answer today. So be sure to reach out to the department directly. Their contact information is currently in the chat. So if those are some personal account access questions, be sure to reach out directly to handle those. So
I got a question, Jerica. I was gonna say, there's one that says, is there a way accountants can register a business for tax permits through GovConnectIowa without that client making a GovConnectIowa? And that's where we pump up that username. So maybe you can touch on that with them using that same email and converting to a username.
Okay, so great question. Thank you for submitting that. Currently, we do not allow new businesses to be registered through GovConnectIowa. If you are already connected to a tax account, you would have to either submit that paper form and by the paper form, I mean the business tax registration form, I apologize, or you would need to create a new GovConnectIowa logon. We are taking into account, your questions that you have and some functionality that you would see. So I would say stay tuned for more information, but we are staying in tune with what you want. Let me go ahead and see here. There is a question here. Can you send secondary access to an email/username that is already set up? So the answer to that is that you cannot set up secondary logon access. However, if you are connected with as either a business owner, an administrator, or you use that business access path, you would be able to immediately grant access through the Manage Other Users link on GovConnectIowa. So when you actually get into GovConnectIowa after November 14th, you're really going to look for that GovConnectIowa access panel, and you'll be able to easily add users there and grant access. I'm just scrolling through to see if there are any more here. All right, so I do see some other great questions out here. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and take these back to our GovConnectIowa team. We'll work with our communications team and see, what updates we can put out there. Again, stay in tune with our website and our common questions, because that's where you're going to see the answers. And Patrick, that concludes the end of our webinar today. I do just want to say thank you guys for sticking through and staying with me to learn more about the second rollout of GovConnectIowa. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. And Patrick, I'll pass it back to you here.
Awesome. No, Jerica, again, thank you, and a great job with the presentation as always. A lot of really cool features coming in a couple of weeks that I think will be really beneficial for everybody. And for everyone that attended, the webinar has been recorded. Those question and answers you've submitted will be provided to the GovConnectIowa team for them to be able to hopefully come up with some other FAQs or things to publish to help answer your questions. We're excited that you're able to be here with us today. We've got a couple webinars left in the full Department of Revenue series for the year on Iowa sourcing. So our next webinar is just next week on November 9th. We're going to be talking about some pass-through entities updates. So be sure to go out and register for that one if you want to be involved with that. If you attended today, you will get a follow-up email with both a copy of the recording and where you can find some of the information from the webinar. So we're hopefully trying to keep you in the loop and make sure you're up to date on all of those pieces of information as they change. But on behalf of you and I, Iowa Economic Development Authority, Department of Revenue, everybody else, thanks for attending. Jerica, once more, great job.
Patrick, I did have another great question that I just read through. I'm sorry, it's toward the bottom of my list here.
Jump in there, no problem.
And no, this is a great question. I'm glad that someone asked it. So the question is as an accountant, we are trying to get everyone set up with an account and get our access code. The access code is not getting to the client. So you do have a couple different options here. So what I'm hearing from that question is that you guys have requested access and either your client isn't getting it, or somehow it's getting lost in the mail, right? Mm-hmm. So what I would recommend that you do at that point is we need to make sure that the address is correct, because it's going to that headquarters or primary mailing address. So what you want to do is you need to have an authorized representative. So if it's the business owner, it's someone that has some authorization associated to that business. You will want them to either send in that business tax change form that's available on our website to update the headquarters address, or you can contact the Iowa Department of Revenue and you can speak with one of our representatives, and they would be able to assist that authorized representative with verifying that that address is correct, or see if something else is happening to make it make sense about why you're not getting that access code. So I just want to say thank you for submitting that question, and that would be the best way for you to do that. And then that's all. I know that's a popular question.
That has definitely been a popular question with access codes and how to make sure the clients are getting them and be able to make that access work. So thank you for seeing that and answering that question. But once more, thank you to everyone who attended for today. Thank you to Jerica, Emily, and Tara for being here to both present and answer questions. We'll hopefully be in touch soon with more information, and hopefully we'll catch you in a future webinar. Thanks for coming today, everybody.